Today we have a statement that's shaking up the entire league. LeBron James just explained why Stephen Curry is the GOAT of shooting, and he compared him to none other than Shohei Ohtani, the baseball superstar. What he said is insane, and it completely changes the historical debate. It all started on the Mind the Game podcast. Curry was a guest, and LeBron decided to break down in great detail why he believes no one in history has shot the ball like Steph. But what set social media ablaze was the unexpected comparison to Shohei Ohtani. LeBron was talking with his friends about Ohtani's famous game in the championship series. 3 home runs and 10 strikeouts in the same game. An absolutely unique level of dual talent. LeBron explained that what makes Ohtani so special is that he can destroy you in 2 completely different ways. And right then, he dropped the bombshell comparison. That's what makes Steph so dangerous. He can beat you in 1,000 different ways. According to LeBron, Curry is like a weapon with infinite modes of attack. If you guard him low, bang. If the big man doesn't move up to the pick and roll, bang. If you follow him well, he moves off the ball and still kills. If you force him to pass, the ball comes back to him through sheer offensive energy. LeBron made it crystal clear. Steph is the greatest shooter in history and one of the biggest threats the NBA has ever seen. LeBron didn't stop at empty praise. He explained that Steph doesn't depend on having the ball in his hands, something rare among modern superstars. He said that many players don't want to let go of the ball because they lose control of the game. But Steph is the complete opposite. The energy he generates off the ball is what makes him impossible to defend. And LeBron finished with this now viral quote, "He'll find you. Energy always finds him. That's why he's the greatest shooter of all time." And the truth is, the numbers don't lie. 42.3% career three-point percentage. Number 1 in history in three-pointers made per game. Number 1 in free throw percentage of all time. 17 seasons maintaining an elite level. 27.4 points per game this season at 37 years old. What LeBron said isn't just praise, it's historical recognition. With this, LeBron, one of the most influential players of all time, is publicly stating that Curry is not only the best shooter, but an unprecedented threat. Does this fuel the GOAT debate? Or does it simply solidify Curry as the most revolutionary offensive player of our era? Leave your opinion below.
In other news, welcome to Sport Trending. Today, we have a revelation that surprised all of MLB. Juan Soto, the New York Mets superstar, confessed which 2 pitchers he finds most difficult to face. And yes, even the greatest have weaknesses. Get ready because the names will surprise you. Juan Soto is one of the most complete hitters in all of MLB. Discipline at the plate, power, contact, he has it all. That's why hearing him admit that there are pitchers who make his life difficult is so striking. Baseball is a sport of failure. If you're batting 300, you're a star. But even so, for a talent like Soto, acknowledging difficulties is news. When Ben Verlander asks him which is the toughest pitcher he has faced, Soto didn't hesitate. Chris Sale is at the top. And it makes sense. Sale is a big left-hander with a completely awkward swing angle, that almost sidearm swing that makes the ball disappear. But the most impressive thing is their head-to-head record. Soto versus Chris Sale. 1 hit in 11 at-bats. 6 strikeouts, and the only hit was a home run. In other words, every time Soto faces him, it's practically a battle for survival. And the worst part for Juan Soto? Chris Sale is in the same division, so he'll have to keep facing him several times a season. The other name Juan Soto mentioned was just as interesting. Madison Bumgarner, man, he was something else. He was so funky you couldn't see the ball. Although he's not in MLB, Bumgarner was a nightmare for left-handed hitters, especially in his prime, throwing 98 miles per hour with that strange mechanics that made the ball seem to disappear until the very last second. The numbers confirm it. Soto versus Bumgarner. 1 hit in 9 at-bats. 2 strikeouts. That single hit? A single. For a hitter as elite as Soto to say he doesn't see the ball when a pitcher throws, that says a lot. Chris Sale still has a long way to go, but if he finishes his career strong, he has a very good chance of entering the Hall of Fame. Bumgarner, despite his legendary postseason performance, probably won't get in, but he will always be one of the most feared pitchers this generation has seen. The truth is that these stats remind us that even the greatest, like Juan Soto, have their personal villains. Which pitcher do you think Juan Soto will have his next big duel with? Leave your answer in the comments and don't forget to subscribe for more hot MLB content.
In other news, today we have a story that mixes controversy, frustration, and a brutal confession from Shaquille O'Neal himself, all because of a simple question. Can Luka Doncic win the MVP this season? Shaq's reaction surprised everyone, and when you hear his explanation, you'll understand why. The Los Angeles Lakers are on fire with a 10-4 start dominating the Pacific Division, and that's thanks to their new superstar, Luka Doncic, the league's leading scorer with 34.4 points per game, along with 8.9 assists. All this without LeBron James, who continues to battle sciatica. Austin Reeves is stepping up, but Luka is carrying the team's weight and making it look easy. That's why many already see him as one of the MVP favorites, along with Jokic and SGA. On his own podcast, alongside Anthony Anderson, Shaq talked about the Lakers, the team's future. But when asked directly, does Luka have a real chance of winning the MVP? Shaq simply said, "I'm not gonna talk about the MVP." The reason? "I stopped focusing on that award when I was robbed twice." Boom. A harsh statement, full of historical resentment. Shaq explained that he has never understood the true criteria for the MVP. Is it based on team success, on statistics, on narrative, on current trends? And he's right. Shaq dominated the NBA like few players in history, and yet he only won one MVP. The most memorable steals, 2001, Shaq finished third, behind Iverson and Duncan, despite averaging 28.7 points and 12.7 rebounds. Absolutely insane. 2000, it wasn't unanimous by one vote. It was a historic MVP, but a journalist broke the unanimity. To this day, Shaq still mentions it. Other years in contention, 1995, 2002, and 2005. Shaq was so dominant that it's incredible he only has one MVP. Shaq didn't want to comment because for him, the award has lost credibility. But that doesn't change the reality. If the Lakers keep winning and Luka maintains this level, he'll be a strong contender for the MVP. And when LeBron returns, Luka could even increase his impact even further. Shaq doesn't want to talk about the MVP, but Luka is giving everyone plenty of reasons to talk about him. What do you think? Is Luka the favorite, or are Joker and SGA still ahead? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more NBA content.